Hi there, a different start to my video today compared to what I usually do. Just wanted to let you know that in this video I had some technical difficulties with my video quality, but the good news is that the audio still came out well. So I just wanted to say sorry about that, and thanks in advance for hanging in there with me when my video goes a bit askew. Okay, here we go. Do you need some working mom tips? Could you use some more work-life balance in your life? Well, if so, then stick around because that's exactly what we're going to continue diving into today. This is part 2 of my latest series here, which is called Work-Life Balance for Moms, where we're talking about my recommended tools and strategies to help us not just survive working motherhood, but really be able to thrive in working motherhood. I have 8 tools and strategies for you all. This is a 4-part series, and we will cover 2 strategies in each part. So let's get to it. So hey there, and welcome back. I'm Alicia from Alicia Cohen Designs, where I teach you intentional planning and productivity. If you're new around here, would you please do me a big favor and hit that subscribe button? It means a lot to me, helps support my channel, and it's just really nice to know that I have supporters out there. So please, give that subscribe button a tap, and now let's get to our topic. Okay, time for part 2. Here is the plan for today's video. First, real quick, we're just going to cover some brief points just to make sure we're all on the same page for this video. Then we are going to cover my next 2 tips that I have for you today. In case you haven't heard yet, I want to give you a heads up about a freebie that I have for you all. I made something for you guys. It's a set of pretty downloadable printables with encouraging working mom quotes on them. I really like them, and I hope you will too, so stick around to the end of this video because I'll show you what the printables look like and I'll tell you the quotes, but if you just can't wait, the link to download the printables is in the description below. All right, now let's get to our first section of today's video. So, to get on the same page, real quick about what we're going for here, we are continuing to take a look at what are some effective strategies and mindset shifts to use in our journeys as working moms to feel like we are able to create the lives that we want, where we're doing the mom thing and doing the work thing and feeling good about it, feeling like we were able to be productive, put our time and attention where we want it to be, and just generally feel sane and well. And like we are living the lives that we want to be living, where we are thriving, not just surviving. So if you're new to this series, hello, and go check out part 1 so you can hear our first 2 strategies. I'll put it over in the cards now. My goal for you with the strategies that I share in this series is to help you increase your working mom effectiveness. As I've said before, it's important to note here that being effective is not synonymous with doing it all. That is literally impossible. If you didn't catch the video yet, again, over in the cards now, where I talked about what it really means to do it all, then go take a listen to that too. And if you are checking this out for the first time and hearing me talk about this and you haven't yet heard me talk about my definition of a working mom, it's just someone who's a mom who's also doing some sort of work thing. Could be full-time, part-time. It could be in the home, out of the home, whatever. But if you are a mom and you are doing something above and beyond your usual mom duties that is some sort of work thing, then you, my sweet sister, are a working mom in my book. All right, now for our first strategy. The first strategy is a mindset shift, mindset awareness, mindset piece. And that is acceptance of what is, which is just another way of saying acceptance of whatever your particular situation is at this time. It doesn't really help us to be doing this working mom thing and just be resisting our circumstances. If you listen to the first set of the Working Mom series, which I will link over there in the cards, I talked about the quote from Carl Jung, which says, "What you resist persists." So this is related here to this acceptance of what is. You are a working mom. You are a mom. You are working. You may like this. You may not. You may have all sorts of feelings about this. And while your thoughts and opinions and feelings are valid and matter, for the acceptance of what is, they are not particularly relevant. Our thoughts about what is, whether we like it or not, or what have you, do not impact our ability to accept what is. Our feelings about the situation, again, don't impact our ability to accept what is. Whatever opinions we have, again, we can have the worst opinions, the worst feelings, and the worst thoughts about whatever our situation is. Maybe we do not like our job, we do not like our role, we do not like what it's doing for this, that, and the other thing, right? And yet, we can accept that this is what it is. Now, Acceptance doesn't mean being complacent, submissive, stuck. It just means, hey, today, this is what I've got going on. This is what's going on. Today, this is how it is. I'm just going to call it like I see it. Just call it what it is for what it is. And that's what I got. I don't like it. Or, I mean, hopefully you do like it, but I don't like it. I don't want it, but it is what it is. So when we start there, then we can do something about it. If we're spending all of our time and effort just resisting what it is and just getting stuck in those thoughts and feelings and opinions that we have about how crummy our situation is, well, then we're being unproductive and spending our time getting caught in the quagmire. What a great word. I am really getting a kick out of and liking that I just used that word in this video. Anyway, so we get caught in the quagmire. So we're just stuck. We're stuck. We don't want that. When we accept what is, then we can move along. That's what we want. And, you don't have to do acceptance of what is. If you are loving your role as a mom and you're loving your job and all is unicorns and rainbows and sunshine, well, then you probably don't need to do so much of acceptance of what is because you're good. You are peachy keen with what is. This mindset shift is more for anyone who is not so peachy keen with what is currently happening, what your current situation is. Well, first step is don't do this quote. Don't resist. It's going to persist. Again, accept what is. And then once you do that and you say, okay, I don't like it. This really stinks, but okay, it is what it is. This is my real life. This is what I've got going on. Then you can do something about it. And that's a really powerful place to be because you're like, okay, here's what it is. I don't like it. Let's go. Let's do something. Does that make sense? Are you following me? So that's my first one for us here today. Okay. We'll continue with our topic in just a moment. But before we get back to it, if you haven't already, would you please hit that subscribe button? As I like to say, you subscribing is kind of like the gasoline for my channel. Keeps things running around here, so please help keep this puppy running and subscribe. Okay, back to it. My second one for us here today is define personal success. The first strategy was a mindset shift strategy. The second one here is something to do, some reflecting here that I think is very useful for us. So, working motherhood can feel exhausting when we are trying to live into someone else's definition of success. Some definition of should, some definition of what society says is success. But what is important here is this is personal success. You get to decide what success means and what success looks like. And maybe your definition of success is what someone else's definition of success is. But first, let's get mindful about it, right? Like, make yourself a grading rubric or something and make it realistic, make it loving and caring and kind towards yourself, because maybe personal success is completing X, Y, and Z at work within such and such a time frame. Let's talk about quarters of the year, not quarters of the school year. I mean, actual quarters of the calendar year. So let's talk about quarter one, January, February, March. So in quarter one or whatever, if you're listening to this video and it's quarter two or quarter three or quarter four or, whatever, but that's fine. But let's just go with quarter one. So in quarter one, success for me will look like I will complete X project at work. Or maybe it's the time of year when you do performance reviews at work and I will receive an average or better rating at work or whatever. And personal success will look like for me that I keep my house clean by hiring a housekeeper. And personal success will look like that I go on a mommy-daughter date with my 7-year-old twice a month or something like that. Do you see what I'm saying? I think we get beat down and bogged down by, I'm just not doing it, quote unquote, right. I'm not living up to who I want to be or what I want to be or where I want to be. Well, that only becomes a problem when whatever it is that you're trying to live up to, whatever that definition of success is, isn't your own, or it isn't something that you have reflected on and been thoughtful about and gotten intentional about. So when you do that and you set some parameters for yourself in quarter one, for me, success will look like, and I don't mean goal setting. This is different. Success will look like, if you're in the newborn phase, success will look like changing out of my pajamas 3 out of the 7 days of the week, or, something like that. I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? So just define success, but it's not a goal. It's not like I'm going to declutter my garage. I'm going to run a marathon. That's not what we're talking about here. Those are better as goals. Personal success is, what does life look like ongoingly? Maybe I will make dinner for my family each evening. That is success. Or I will do a weekly date night with my spouse or partner, whatever it is. You decide, but pick some things that really matter to you, and that if you think to yourself, yeah, you know what? If I did those 5 things ongoingly, I spent time with my spouse or partner, I spent time with my kids, I performed decently well at my work, and I did this thing or that thing to take good care of myself. If I did those things, yeah, then I would know that I'm rocking it. I'm living in a way that's in alignment with who I want to be and how I want to be, and that to me is successful. So sit down, do some thinking, maybe some journaling, some writing, some reflecting, whatever your style is, and think about, what is it that I want for myself right now? What do I want my life to look like? What would it mean? And again, this is not anyone else's definition of success other than your own, and maybe even the thing that you want. Like, let's say the thing that you want that success would be for you is that you would make a home-cooked meal for your family every night for dinner. But maybe right now, success is that you do one of those meal services where they deliver the ingredients to you and then you cook that, which actually is still home-cooked. But just go with me here. Or maybe you do a home-cooked meal 2 nights out of the week, and then you do takeout the 2 other nights of the week. Whatever. But just be realistic. Be loving towards yourself and kind, and give yourself grace in your definition of success, of personal success, so that it actually feels good and is actually doable. Because the trouble we run into with doing this work-life balance thing, this working mom thing, and we're just trying to, do it well, we get ourselves into trouble when we are doing what someone else has prescribed. And maybe we're not even aware of it. Maybe it's subconscious. But that's what this strategy is for, to get aware of it, to get conscious about it, so that you are no longer living up to someone else's measuring stick. You're only living up to your own definition of personal success, your own definition of that personal success measuring stick, because when we do that, then we can feel that we are pursuing what matters most. We're living in alignment with what matters, and we just feel good about it because we're not chasing something that's unrealistic, and we're not chasing something that someone else holds in high esteem. We're just doing what works for us. And perhaps in your own definition of personal success, there's a spiritual or religious component. Totally fine. Put it in there. If success for you is conducting yourself in such and such a way because that is congruent with your particular spiritual tradition, religious tradition, whatever, definitely. That is a great thing to have as part of your own personal success measuring stick. But take some time, think about it, and then write it out. And actually write it out and put it somewhere. Somewhere you'll see it. On your computer monitor, around the frame of the monitor or whatever, on your phone somewhere where you'll actually see it, or set a reminder so you'll go back to it. But actually write it out. Don't just think about it. Think about whatever the definition of personal success will be for you. But then actually, once you come up with that, write it down somewhere. For Q1 of this year, personal success for me looks like 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5, or, whatever. Don't do a bajillion things. Grace here, not a bajillion things, okay? And then, write it down and then refer to it. And then Q2, take a look. Is this still my personal definition of success? Is this still who and how I want to be in my life? And if yes, great. Keep on keeping on. And if no, then adjust it. But when we are first aware, when we're just plain old aware of this concept, well, then that can do wonders for us. And then we actually operate within this concept, when we're actually operating within this concept, well, then we can do even more. It even does more wonders for us, all right? Okay. So that's what I have for you for today, for our next 2 strategies for how to realistically and sanely approach life as a working mom in a way that we can feel like we are thriving, not just surviving. But remember, I promised you that I tell you about my freebie, so let's do that now. All right, so again, I made downloadable printables for you all. There are 3 of them with encouraging quotes about being a working mom. For the first one, we have this one here with a lovely quote from former U.S. First Lady Michelle Obama that says, "For me, being a mother made me a better professional because coming home every night to my girls reminded me what I was working for. And being a professional made me a better mother because by pursuing my dreams, I was modeling for my girls how to pursue their dreams." For our second one, we have this great quote from comedian Tina Fey that says, "I think every working mom probably feels the same thing. You go through big chunks of time where you're just thinking, this is impossible. Oh, this is impossible. And then you just keep going, and you sort of do the impossible." And finally, we have this sweet quote from author Jill Churchill that says, "There is no way to be a perfect mother, but a million ways to be a good one." So if you want to have these for yourself, go click the link in the description below. They're formatted in the 8x10 size, and you can go print them at home or get them printed professionally, whatever you prefer. I hope that you like them and that they inspire and encourage you in your own working mom journey. As always, thanks so much for spending this time with me. That wraps up part 2 for today. Be on the lookout for part 3 coming your way very soon. And my parting encouragement, as always, if you are feeling overwhelmed today, remember that when it comes to planning and productivity, being intentional plus not giving up means that you are going to get there. Catch you next time. Take good care.